Love thy neighbor, but only until they decide to cut the hedge for 4 hours straight. Hello and welcome. This week we will sew a modern bustle skirt from an old IKEA curtain. For this project you will need old IKEA curtains. Mine have cats on it, a sewing machine or your hands, scissors, pins, a measuring tape, some interfacing, an invisible zipper, and finally some satin or cotton tape for the bustling. The prep work. This is a very easy and quick fancy skirt to sew and you don't even need a pattern. The measurements you need are your waistline, the length from the waist to your ankles, from your waist to your knee, and from your waist to the mid-calf or whatever the final length of your bustle skirt should be. I got these curtains as a gift from a friend a few years back when she moved out and it was lost in the torture chamber downstairs since then. It was never washed, it smells like basement, and it even has some of her cat's hair still stuck to it. All hail the infinite black hole of my house's basement. God knows what is still in there, but I managed to clean it up though. Aren't you proud of me? First, cut 2 pieces of curtain on the fold with the width of the fabric by the length to your ankles. Then remove 4 inches on the waistline, blending to 0 on the bottom to create a slight A-line. On the bottom edge, remove 1 inch on a slight curve so you don't have weird pointy edges when sewing. Cut one of the pieces in half of the length to form the back panels. I am adding inseam pockets to this, but it is optional. So cut 4 pocket pieces if you want to add them too. For the waistband, cut 1 piece measuring half of your waist measurement by the width that you want. Here I wanted to center the cat face, so it's a very wide waistband. For the back pieces, do the same. Just don't be stupid like I was and forget to consider 1 extra seam allowance per side, because you will have to cut them again. Cut 2 sets of each, as you will need some for the facing as well. The assembly! Sew your pocket pieces right sides facing and sew them to the front panel of your skirts on the right side. I will post a more detailed tutorial on this, don't worry. It is easy, but there are a few steps to be considered. Add your side panels to the front, right sides facing as well, being careful not to sew the pockets shut. Finish the edges the best way you can. I found this curtain fabric to be very fraily, so raw edges will not work here. I chose to serge, but pinking shears will also work. Sew the waistband parts right sides facing, press the seams open, interface the facing, and sew it to the outer waistband. Also, right sides facing. Again, press it open and understitch the lining. It's time to gather the fabric. Run a wide stitch on your machine or running stitches by hand, skipping the pockets. Do not gather the pockets. I chose to do a double row because the fabric is very thick and I didn't want anything to explode. Pin the skirt to the waistband, right sides facing. Make sure the side and back seams as well as the center front notch are all matching. Sew it in place and finish the center back seam so it doesn't fray away. Now let's add the satin or cotton tapes to the waistline so we can bustle the skirt. I chose to add 6 pieces in total. 2 to the front right where the pockets end, 1 at each side seam and 1 in the middle of each back skirt panel. You should cut them to your knee length. Struggle to add the invisible zipper and wish they were never invented in the first place.
Stop it! I hate technology! This thing is trolling me!
You know I am angry when I start swearing in different languages at the same time. Finish the hem. Here I am using my invisible stitch machine, but you can easily do it by hand. There you go. All finished. The bustling. Is that even a word? You have to have your finished piece before bustling so you can know the correct final length. I wanted a mid-calf length, and according to my calculations, that meant I would have to leave 6 inches below my knee to achieve that. So I measured that up from the hem where the tapes were located. Pin and sew them in place.
More bustling. Zushi, come ahead. Come ahead. Come ahead. Hello. Hello. Come ahead. Hi.
The rest of the bustling was done with me wearing the skirt and there was no calculations there. I just puffed the fabric where I thought it was cuter and went for it. I am not the most outgoing person there is and I have absolutely no problem staying home during quarantine and lockdowns and everything, and this is actually my dream situation, but I feel sad for all of the new clothes that I have that I'm not able to show the world, and for my poor bacon that has been in this fleece cage for a long time, so I will be unbothered, fancily dressed in the garden for a while. Because I can. Thank you so much for watching. If you like sewing shenanigans and crazy fashion projects, don't forget to subscribe and I will see you next week. And if you have any ideas what I should do with that rest curtain, let me know in the comments below because there's a lot of fabric left. Yes, yes, yes. Enough with the hedge cutting!